When you picture top-tier enterprise security, you probably imagine uh, biometrics, laser grids, or maybe giant data centers humming in the dark.
Right, like a digital fortress.
Exactly. You picture the fortress.
All right.
But today we are taking a deep dive into the tiny, kind of obscure lock on the server room door. Specifically, we're looking at a product page from HDTV Supply for a specialized piece of hardware. It's called the Kramer FC-70R.
Which is, a very technical name for what is essentially an RS-232 to USB translator.
Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this. Why should you care about an obscure tech adapter? Well, because this little black box reveals exactly how highly secure enterprise-level systems are forced to communicate.
Yeah, to really understand the value of this device, you first have to look at the unique language barrier it solves. It bridges this huge gap between older control systems and modern, highly secure hardware.
Right, because it takes RS-232 control commands, which are pretty old school, and it translates them into standard USB keyboard shortcuts.
Exactly. And it does this specifically to control high slabs or HSL, KVM, KM, and combiner products.
It's basically like a U1 interpreter, but, for hardware. It's translating between a legacy industrial machine speaking RS-232 and a modern computer expecting USB.
What's fascinating here is that those HSL products rely strictly on keyboard shortcuts for operation. I mean, they completely refuse to accept commands over an open IP network.
Right, because an open network is just an open door for hackers.
Spot on. So the Kramer FC-70R automates the whole process. It lets an external RS-232 controller basically press those keyboard keys remotely. It tricks the server into thinking a real human is standing there typing.
Okay, I get the secure translation part, but I have to push back a bit on the economics here. Since it just mimics a keyboard, you might wonder why it costs $428.
That is a very common reaction, yeah. I mean, it sounds steep.
Right. Why wouldn't a network administrator just use a regular $20 USB keyboard instead of automating it through a $400 RS-232 controller?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it all comes down to the incredibly strict security environment it operates within. This device maintains ELA 4+ and PPSV 3.0 security standards for those high-seq labs products.
Wow, those are some heavy-duty compliance acronyms.
Oh, absolutely. In those highly secured environments, like, say, military intelligence or central banking, you just can't compromise security protocols for convenience. Human access is actually your biggest vulnerability.
So putting a human in the room with a $20 keyboard is a massive security risk.
Exactly. But when hooked up to Kramer control devices, this translator enables a graphical user interface and remote switching. You can tap a touch screen in a safe room, and the device sends the signal without ever breaking that strict ELA 4+ security chain.
That makes a lot of sense. So what does this all mean for the physical reality of a data center? I mean, building on the idea of these restricted environments, the physical design has to fit into some really cramped server
Oh,
racks.
yeah. Space is fiercely optimized in those places. You can't just throw bulky adapters in there.
Right. And looking at the specs, it is incredibly small. It's just 4.7 by 2.8 by 1.0 inches, and it weighs only 0.3 pounds. It basically sips power, too, running on 12V DC at a max of 110 milliamps.
Tiny.
Plus, it manages to fit one RS-232 terminal block, one KVM USB Type-B port, and two USB Type-A connectors on that tiny chassis. It's literally the size of a deck of cards, despite its massive enterprise security role.
Yeah, but the true engineering feat here isn't really the hardware casing itself. The real magic is the flawless, low-power software translation happening inside. It has to act as a perfect, invisible middleman.
So the Kramer FC-70R is really the ultimate specialized middleman. It just proves that in enterprise tech, secure translation between old and new standards is paramount.
Absolutely. It creates that convenience without risking any data integrity.
Which leaves us with a final, somewhat provocative thought for you to ponder. We live in an era where literally everything is moving to wireless and cloud-based systems. So why do the most secure, high-stakes environments on Earth still demand physical, hardwired protocol translators like this one?
It definitely highlights the hidden vulnerabilities of our fully connected world.
It really does. Something to think about next time you trust the cloud.